Most of us have heard of affirmations, short phrases people repeat, hoping to change the way they think. And if you've ever rolled your eyes at them, I understand. It can sound a little too easy, like words alone could rewire years of experience or self-doubt. But there's a reason so many people return to them again and again, quietly, often when no one's watching. Not through magic, but through something far more intimate, our own nervous system. Every thought you think sends a chemical signal through your body. Every belief you hold tunes your attention, your posture, your breath. If you've ever noticed that your shoulders tense when you think something stressful, or that your breathing deepens when you feel safe, then you've witnessed it. The connection between mind and body isn't abstract, it's constant. When we repeat an affirmation, we're not trying to lie to ourselves. We're trying to redirect a conversation that's been happening unconsciously for years. Most people live inside a loop of quiet self-criticism they never even notice. I should be further along. I always mess things up. I'm not doing enough. These sentences don't just stay in the mind, they register in the body. They raise cortisol, tighten muscles, quicken the heart rate. The body listens, always. Now imagine interrupting that loop, not with denial, but with a pause. A phrase like, "I'm allowed to rest," or "I'm learning to trust myself." At first, your mind might resist. It might say, "That's not true. I don't feel that." But if you stay gentle, something subtle happens. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, begins to quiet. The prefrontal cortex, the part involved in reflection and decision-making, starts to take the lead. Cortisol drops slightly. Breathing steadies. Blood pressure lowers. It's not that you suddenly believe the words. It's that your body stops fighting them. And that's where change begins. In the absence of resistance. The neuroscientists who've studied this call it self-affirmation theory. They found that when people repeat statements aligned with their values, things that feel personally meaningful, the brain's reward circuits activate. Not because of positive thinking, but because the self feels coherent again. We like to think of ourselves as rational, but we're mostly storytelling creatures. We need a story that makes sense. When life shakes us, when we feel small or unseen or uncertain, affirmations work as tiny repair threads, stitching the story of self back together. And skeptics, the ones who think this is fluffy, often use affirmations too. They just don't call them that. They say things like, "I'm just not a morning person," or "I can't handle stress," or "I'm bad with people." Those are affirmations too, just the kind that close doors instead of opening them. Every repetition is a rehearsal. The question is only, what are you rehearsing? When you start using affirmations consciously, you take authorship of that rehearsal. You begin teaching your nervous system a new baseline, one of safety instead of survival. Over time, this lowers stress hormone levels, improves sleep cycles, and increases emotional resilience. Because when your mind stops constantly broadcasting danger, your body can rest. And when your body rests, your mind can think clearly again. It's all circular, and beautifully so. Sleep researchers have even found that people who practice calming affirmations before bed fall asleep faster and experience fewer nighttime awakenings. It makes sense. When you stop trying to force sleep, when you speak to yourself kindly, your parasympathetic nervous system activates, the rest and digest branch. Your heart rate slows, your temperature drops, your body begins to understand. We're safe now. It's okay to let go. And maybe that's what all of this comes down to. permission. Most of us are starving for it. Permission to rest, permission to be enough, even in unfinished moments, permission to be human in a world that rewards constant doing. Here's the important part. Affirmations are not meant to overwrite pain or bypass truth. They're not about pretending everything's fine. They're about creating enough inner safety to face what's real without collapsing into it. You don't say, "I'm okay," because everything is perfect. You say it to calm the storm long enough to see what's actually happening beneath the waves. That's what awareness is. And awareness is always the beginning of change. So tonight or today, wherever you are, I want you to slow down for a moment. Feel your breath as it moves in and out. Notice the cool air as you inhale, the soft warmth as you exhale. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders drop. You've done enough for today. Now, listen not just with your ears, but with your body. Let the words settle where they're needed. You don't have to force them to feel true. You just have to let them land. I am safe in this moment. Even if the day was messy, I am here, breathing, alive, and that's enough. My worth is not tied to my productivity. I do not need to earn the right to rest. Each breath I take resets my body's rhythm. Each exhale releases what I no longer need. I am learning to trust the quiet more than the noise. The quiet always tells me the truth. I am not behind. I am unfolding. Life is not a race. It's an awakening. My body is my ally. Even when it hurts, even when it's tired, it's still on my side, always trying to keep me safe. I forgive myself for the years I spent at war with my own reflection. I was only trying to survive with the tools I had. I allow joy in, even if it feels unfamiliar. Joy doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means I'm open again. I can be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. Both truths can exist in me at once. I release the idea that I have to have it all figured out. Uncertainty is not failure. It's space. I am becoming softer without becoming weaker. My gentleness is strength. I deserve to feel safe in my own mind. I deserve to experience peace that isn't conditional. I am worthy of deep rest, not because I've earned it, but because I'm human. My value isn't based on how others perceive me. I exist, and that's enough reason to be valuable. Every challenge I've faced has taught me resilience, even when I didn't see it at the time. The evidence of my strength is that I'm still here. I am proud of myself for being here, for listening, for trying. Even if no one else knows how hard it's been, I do. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. Now take a deep breath in through your nose, slowly. Hold it, and release. Let your body sink a little deeper. Feel how gravity holds you. You don't have to hold everything on your own anymore. This is where the science of affirmations becomes something holy. Because what's really happening right now, in this very second, is that your body is recalibrating. Your vagus nerve is signaling to your heart that it can slow down. Your heart is signaling to your brain that it's safe. Your brain is releasing serotonin and melatonin, gentle neurotransmitters that prepare you for rest. And your mind, the one that's usually racing, is starting to align with your body again. You're not tricking yourself. You're remembering what calm feels like. And maybe, after years of chaos or overthinking or self-judgment, that feels new. That's okay. The body doesn't heal in grand gestures. It heals in repetition. The same way trauma can be built through repetition, through recurring stress, peace can be built the same way, through consistent calm. Affirmations are the rehearsal of peace, the steady rhythm that teaches your cells a new language. You start catching your mind when it drifts into old stories. You start noticing tension sooner, breathing deeper without thinking. That's not luck. That's neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire through practice. And slowly, day by day, your internal dialogue softens. You start speaking to yourself the way you always needed someone else to. That's when affirmation becomes realization. So if you've ever doubted this process, if you've ever thought, these things don't work for me, remember that even skepticism is just another belief. And beliefs can change, not by force, but through evidence. And evidence doesn't only come from studies or textbooks, it comes from you, noticing how you feel. Maybe you'll notice that you fall asleep a little easier tonight. Maybe you'll notice that you wake up feeling slightly lighter. Maybe you'll notice that when something stressful happens tomorrow, your first reaction isn't panic, it's breath. That's proof, subtle, but real. Your body wants to heal. Your mind wants peace. You don't have to convince them. You just have to create the conditions where it's possible. And that's what you're doing right now. So before you leave this space or drift into sleep, I want to thank you for listening, for being curious, for choosing something gentle when the world tells you to be harder. If you stay with this practice, it won't just change the way you feel, it will change the way you interpret reality. Because when your nervous system feels safe, everything else begins to look softer, more possible. You stop mistaking adrenaline for purpose. You stop equating chaos with meaning. You begin to notice beauty again, in small things, in the way light moves across your wall, in the sound of wind, in the quiet of being alive. That's not sentimental. That's regulation. A nervous system at peace notices beauty. A nervous system in survival can't. So you're not just doing affirmations, you're rebuilding your perception of life. And that's the most powerful thing you could possibly do. Because when you feel safe, you treat others with more patience. When you rest, you create better. When you believe in your worth, you stop settling for less. And when you practice that long enough, you stop trying to manifest peace. You embody it. That's how change happens. Not overnight, not loudly, but quietly, in moments like this, when you pause, when you listen, when you choose to speak to yourself differently. So take one final breath with me. Inhale through your nose, filling your lungs slowly. Hold, exhale through your mouth. Everything is okay. You are okay. And tomorrow, when the mind begins its old routine again, remember, it's not you against your thoughts. It's you guiding them home. You can always return here, to this stillness, to this truth, to yourself. Good night, or good morning. Either way. Welcome home,